Welcome back. Canadians carry the highest levels of household debt among G7 countries, and their credit card balances have hit all-time highs of over $100 billion. FIG Financial is a fully digital personal loan provider whose parent company, Fairstone Bank of Canada, is partially owned by the Ontario Teachers' Pension Plan. FIG became directly accessible to customers across Canada earlier this month and says its transparency on rates, quick service and ease of use will help Canadians looking to consolidate their debts. Joining us now is the Chief Executive Officer of the company, Francois Cote. He's CEO of FIG Financial. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you're a relatively new company. You launched just over a year ago in March of 2023, and you went direct to consumer only this month. Explain what direct to consumer means and what that change was.
Yeah, absolutely. So that change was our ability to offer our products directly to the consumers. When we launched, we partnered with many big brands such as Borrowell and Credit Karma and so forth. And we wanted to actually make the product accessible to all Canadians, where they could access a personal loan to help them reduce the debt load of credit cards particularly, and reduce the rates, and also in the comfort of their home, because the platform is fully digital, and we've been able to reduce the time it takes to access a loan from a traditional bank, which would be, say, days to weeks, to a question of 10 minutes, where you can do it from the comfort of
I see we have a graphic of I think an image of an app that we can put on the screen perhaps and show, give viewers a graphic view of what the service looks like on a phone. There it is right there. What is your addressable market? Who are the borrowers you want to reach?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's interesting with FIG is we're really going after the prime market, which have been traditionally serviced by the banks. So if you think of the number of Canadians that have a credit bureau file, there would be roughly 28 million or so, of which 20 million would be prime, which is the market that FIG's addressing.
Good borrower, I shouldn't say good, I guess, but reliable borrowers, people who have a history of paying back their debts, correct?
That's right, and that would traditionally rely on the banks to service their needs. And the banks have been not as focused on personal loans. They typically are more focused on credit cards and other products such as mortgages. So when we looked at the market, we felt that we could use some of the competitive advantages that we had with the ownership structure that we have, and really tap into this unmet demand, which has happened actually in the U.S. market. This is something that has existed now for, frankly, a couple decades. But personal lending for that everyday Canadian, for the 20+ million, hasn't really changed much in Canada in the last, I'd argue, 20 years.
Are these people who have gone to the bank, asked for a personal loan, and been told no?
No. The consumers we're trying to serve is the consumer that's looking at. There's a lot of credit cards are at an all-time high, and so it's now in excess of $100 billion. And if you think of that, that means that if you have a $10,000 credit card balance, it might take you upwards of 20 years if you pay the minimum balance. And so what we're trying to do is to offer an alternative to the banks to lower your overall debt by putting it on a more fixed-term product. And you can see within 10 seconds if you have the type of rate you're going to get. And then within that next 10 minutes, you can actually fulfill the process. So you don't have to call anyone. You don't have to go to a local branch. And what we've heard from our customer is that has really simplified their lives. And we get a lot of feedback from the customer around that ease of use and being able to do it at 10 p.m., at 11 p.m., or 12 or what have you. It's really, we're not open or closed. We're always open.
What type of documentation does the client have to provide? If you want to look at your credit score with a credit bureau, you need to provide some basic information.
That's right.
You answer these questions about what credit cards you might have in your wallet. That type of thing.
What we would do is just ask some basic questions to help us understand your eligibility, and then we would pre-qualify you with a guaranteed rate. And then if the customer so chooses to go through with it, then they follow through. And then the documentation we've digitized all of the validation steps that they would otherwise have to do with paper. Everything is now done digitally to the technology. That
what are your views on the macro question of these huge levels of household debt that we've seen in this country for a long, long time now? We in the financial news media remember a series of Bank of Canada governors cautioning Canadians, take it easy on household debt because rates are not going to stay low forever. And in fact, while they are coming down, they're higher than they were several years ago.
Yeah, and if you've been around the space, there are always cycles, and we've certainly seen this story before when you go back to the 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. And what we saw through the pandemic was really an increased saving and pay down of debt. And then as the Bank of Canada increased rates, spending rates went up. And what I think we saw in the credit card is really leveraging credit cards in a way to keep up with the expenses that they have. So as the rates lower, it should give some momentum to the housing market. And then we think, again, personal loans can be a great way to help Canadians get back on track with the increased debt.
Francois, thank you a great deal for being here.
Thank you so much.
Francois